up, everybody? How are you all doing today? I know it's been a minute since I've been on. Been kind of busy with some stuff. But listen, man, I could not pass this up. Hey, just my five. How are you feeling? I hope you're feeling all right. I'll have to hit you up in the Discord and check in on you. What's up, y'all? Oh my goodness. Herschel Walker. So, I wouldn't say this is an October surprise. I would say that if this is what they're bringing out and it's only June, what's going to happen come October? That's my question. Okay, because there's always an October surprise, right? What's up, everybody? Yeah, okay. Well, I'm glad to see you. I hope you're well. So check this out, you guys. Many of you, probably mostly folks out in Georgia, out in Georgia way, who've been paying attention to the politics of Georgia. Mostly, more importantly, it's kind of hard to say this even too, but potential Senate candidate Herschel Walker, all right? Yeah, potential Republican Senator candidate Herschel Walker, who has been a critic of absentee fathers. Well, it turns out that he's been an absentee father himself, that he has a second son, and that he does not see his second son. And I'm talking, he's been very critical, okay? Now, Herschel Walker, he's having a pretty rough week, I have to say. I think he's kind of having a rough week. Hold on just a second. Let me bring up a photo here. Tuesday, it's Tuesday, November 8th, all right? This Senate or this vote will be had. And right now, Herschel Walker is neck and neck with the other, listen, he's up there. It's very possible that Herschel Walker could become a senator from the state of Texas. And some people are like, wait a second, not sure how I really feel about that, because Herschel seems a little empty up there, I'd say. Just a little empty. A little empty upstairs, okay? But he's had a bit of a bad week, and that's why I'm saying, it's June 15th. And if this is what they're dropping in June, what is the October surprise going to be? Because most political campaigns, especially senator, president, you're getting up there in higher offices, you don't always drop the bad stuff or the negative stuff or the stuff that you think could potentially affect your opponent. Or, you don't drop it all. You wait till the very last moment, right? You drop usually the worst thing of all right before the election happens, because it doesn't give the people time. They don't even have time to digest it. Now, listen, Herschel Walker has been backed by Donald Trump, and that was already a red flag for me. Okay, it is what it is. It's just kind of hard. It's very difficult to understand that for me. It's like you sat here and you watched everything play out all these last few years. Why would you even want Donald Trump to back you, though? But man, amazingly, I guess Herschel Walker felt like he had the black vote. I guess he figured he'd try to go clamor for some of the old white vote out there in Georgia, all right, around Georgia way. But listen to this, okay? Let me just kind of go into these details, this steady drip of stuff that's coming out that could potentially sink/drown Herschel Walker and his Senate run. All right. Now, you'd first look at him and think, oh, yeah, he looks like he's got it all together. He's a coveted potential pick for Senate in Georgia, football hero. Went to the University of Georgia, had an NFL career, a business owner, okay? A black conservative, like I said, with backing from former President Donald Trump, the only president that has been impeached twice, all right? One of Herschel's longtime friends, But he's had a turbulent past, all right? Turbulent. Exaggerated claims of financial success, unpredictable behavior, repeatedly threatened his ex-wife's life, his struggles with mental illness, all right? Even at one point, releasing in a book back in 2008, he talked about his diagnosis with mental illness, all right? And went into great detail about how he had dissociative identity disorder, also known as multiple personality disorder. All right. You don't know who you're talking to. Is it Herschel? All right. Is it, you know what I'm saying? I'm just like, hello, people. Hello. So we just got through the whole Donald Trump thing, and now you want to put another weird, crazy motherfucker back. Okay, whatever. You want to give him control, right? You want to put any sort of power and control in this man's hands so he can what for you? What exactly is Herschel Walker going to do for you all down there in Georgia's way? I'm talking, what exactly will he do for you? It looks like to me he caters to Donald Trump like friends and, in low places, friends in low places. His answer on gun violence didn't even make sense. All right. His answer on gun violence made zero sense. He made a statement about the one of many mass shootings that we've had here in the United States of America. And his answer made no sense. But how you going to criticize folks for being an absentee father when you got a whole secret son? You got a whole second child who's a secret. He's a secret. Oh, I'm going to show you something here in a second, but just before we get there, all right? This man has spoke out about absentee fathers quite a lot, and in his particularly targeted black households, right? But he had to come out and publicly acknowledge that he fathered a second son with whom he is not even in contact with the young man. And the only reason why he even came out and admitted it, the only reason that his admission came out was in response to a report by the Daily Beast. The Daily Beast did a report which said, it had confirmed that the 10-year-old boy, his father was Herschel Walker. They withheld his name and that of his mother, and it said that the child's mother had sued Herschel Walker 1 year after giving birth because she wanted to obtain a declaration of paternity and child support. This suit went on until August of 2014 when Mr. Herschel Walker was ordered to pay child support. By this time, this boy was more than 2 years old and did subsequently take Mr. Walker's last name. Now, can I just mention something about that real quick? Isn't it interesting how no good ass fathers, right? Sorry ass fathers, you got to take them to court to get child support so they can support their child. But they always want to slap their last name on a child, don't they? Right? I don't want to get that last name. I want him to have my name. You don't even support him though. Okay. Now, all this has been going on in his life. He's had a whole secret son for over a decade, yet he has repeatedly criticized fatherless homes in Black communities, and even back in an interview in 2020 with conservative activist Charlie Kirk. We remember old Charlie, don't we? Remember old Charlie? The guy that was heading up that event for Kyle Rittenhouse not too long ago. Have more babies. This young 19-year-old man, he needs a good wife. But anyway, Herschel called the absence of fathers a major, major problem and said that in Black households, it's a big deal. And he even boasted of having been, quote, like a father, end quote, to many young people in his hometown in Georgia. But what about your own son, though? Okay, what? Then 2021 comes around, right? He does another interview with, y'all remember Diamond and Silk, right? The two ladies that sold out their Blackness to support Donald Trump, okay? Y'all remember Diamond and Silk, right? Okay, yeah, them two. He lamented and went on about how the father leaves in a Black family unit, that the father will leave the boys so that they're raised by their mother, comparing the dynamic to family separations during slavery. But he's saying all this knowing he has a whole son that he don't even talk to. No excuse. No excuse. The fact that even if you are, all right, a powerful man, you're a man that, you're making decent financial decisions, all right, you're not living paycheck to paycheck, hopefully, in life, especially being, by the time you're 50, 60 years old, hopefully you figured it out. But still, how do you walk around for 10 whole years with having no relationship to one of your sons, to a seed that came from you? No excuses. Man, do you know how much men and women across this great United States of America, and I say that very sarcastically, how much the shit that we have had to go through just to support our kids, okay? Ramen noodles, no working stove, so you had to use a crock pot type shit, cook outside on the grill type shit. Listen, I don't think Herschel Walker is in a great mind space to be no senator from Georgia. I really don't. And it's going to be sad if he gets elected. But listen, Georgia's not my state, so I have no say-so in the matter. Right? But still, be weary. And one of the things I sort of think, and I'm going to be honest with you, when I look at Herschel Walker and his run for Senate, especially out of Georgia way, where we just watched 3 white supremacists get sentenced for killing a man who was jogging down the street. And here we are in that was Thanksgiving of last year, remember? To get into the Senate, I mean, once you get elected as a senator, that's a very powerful position to have. And I just don't think Herschel Walker is capable of being a good senator. I really don't. He can't even put a sentence together, okay? But the thing is this, it ain't really necessarily about, like, my thing is this. Why do you even have to be put on child support to support your child, though? That's my question. Why? Why does a court have to put you men on child support just for you to support your children? I don't get that. Now, I understand that it's become a very common thing and it sort of just happens automatically in some situations. I think anytime a mother or even a father goes to get like benefits or whatever, that would also trigger an action like that. But my thing is, 10 years, you got a 10-year-old son, Herschel, and you don't know anything about him, but yet you're out here trying to tell everybody else how to run their households, though. It has been suggested that Herschel Walker has been hiding this child because he hadn't used him in his political campaign. Herschel comes out and is like, no, I supported my child. I continue to support my child. I pay child support and everything. What's more honorable is when you can say that you love and support your kids and child support doesn't even come up as part of the conversation. Because I'm just saying, let me just show you how nonsensical Herschel Walker.
My book manuscript is due in 3 months. I'm getting a little
ridiculous.
Nervous.
This is sad.
Less than 48 hours after a gunman killed 19 children and 2 teachers at an elementary school in Uvalde, Texas, Georgia Republican Senate nominee Herschel Walker was asked on Fox News about the nation's gun violence problem and what he thinks should be done about it. Here's what he said.
Cain killed Abel, and that's the problem that we have. And I said, what we need to do is look into how we can stop those things. He talked about doing a disinformation. What about getting a department that can look at young men that's looking at women that looking at just social media? What about doing that, looking into things like that, and we can stop that way? But yet they want to just continue to talk about taking away your constitutional rights. And I think there's more things we need to look into. This has been happening for years, and the way we stop it by putting money into the mental health field, by putting money into other departments rather than departments that want to take away your rights.
Yes, really. That's what he said.
Listen here. Listen here, Mr. Walker, sir. Hey, shout out to everybody in the chat. What's up, Chupacabra? I ain't seen you in a minute. How are you? Listen, truth is this. You want to run for a office like Senate, be expected to be raked and scrapped over hot coals. Just how they did Sarah Palin. What the freak? So his response to the massacre in Uvalde, Texas, first thing out of his mouth, Cain killed Abel. Bitch, what? What? Listen, I'm not calling you a bitch. I'm using the phrase there, right? What?
A little nervous.
Cain killed Abel.
Less than 48 hours after a gunman killed 19 children and 2 teachers at an elementary school in Uvalde, Texas, Georgia Republican Senate nominee Herschel Walker was asked on Fox News about the nation's gun violence problem and what he thinks should be done about it. Here's what he said.
Cain killed Abel, and that's the problem that we have. And I said, what we need to do is look into how we can stop those things. He talked about doing a disinformation. What about getting a department that can look at young men that's looking at women that looking at just social media? What about doing that, looking into things like that, and we can stop that way. But yeah.
Listen here, man. What? Now, listen to this. This is development about his secret 10-year-old son is the latest and potentially the most damaging report from a number of reports that have detailed Mr. Herschel Walker's exaggerations and outright falsehoods concerning his life. Before entering into politics, he has falsely claimed that he worked as a member of law enforcement in Georgia. Okay? Herschel Walker, who got the Heisman Trophy back in 1980, right? College football star, for some reason, felt like he needed to lie and tell the world that he worked as a member of law enforcement in Georgia. He also said that he worked in the FBI in Quantico, Virginia. He has also exaggerated his business record as the owner of a poultry company that collapsed years ago. Just my 5. That's exactly what I asked myself. How many times has this man been hit in the head? Now, Mr. Walker's opponent in the Senate race, Mr. Warnock, he's currently contending with his own child custody dispute. He is sued to have his child support payments recalculated, right? Given his increased income since taking office last year. And his campaign has not responded to this, but it kind of sort of doesn't really matter when you got a whole secret son that you don't even know. Huh. And you're accused of hiding your son. What's that? You said what? Cain killed Abel? Is that what you said?
My book manuscript is due in 3 months. I'm getting a little nervous. Less than 48 hours after a gunman killed 19 children and 2 teachers at an elementary school in Uvalde, Texas, Georgia Republican Senate nominee Herschel Walker was asked on Fox News about the nation's gun violence problem and what he thinks should be done about it. Here's what he said.
Cain killed Abel, and that's the problem that we have. And I said, what we need to do is look into how we can stop those things. He talked about doing a disinformation. What about getting a department that can look at young men that's looking at women that looking at just social media? What about doing that, looking into things like that, and we can stop that way? But yet they want to just continue to talk about taking away your constitutional rights. And I think there's more things we need to look into. This has been happening for years, and the way we stop it by putting money into the mental health field, or putting money into other departments rather than departments that want to take away your rights.
All this coming from Mr. Multiple Personality Disorder, right? Wow. Wow. It's like asthma, right? It's like asthma. Like fucking wow, man. Listen. He's been caught lying so much. To think he is now the Republican nominee for the U.S. Senate seat. Just wow. So what did you do in Quantico, Herschel, when you were working for the FBI? What did you do? What kind of investigations did you oversee? Now, that's not the only lie he told. He also lied and said that he graduated from the University of Georgia. I mean, we're talking about dishonesty upon dishonesty upon dishonesty. Okay. his website, his actual campaign website, falsely claimed that he graduated from the University of Georgia. He actually left that school after his junior season to play professional football. After he was called on it, his campaign deleted the claim on the website and reworded it basically. He had made that false graduation claim for years. He even asserted that he graduated in the top 1% of his University of Georgia class. Not only did he lie about even graduating the college, he lied about graduating in the top 1%. But I think we can all see there's nothing but air upstairs, right? There's nothing but air up there in between the mirrors. Or, he's going to be the one that after, he passes away for whatever it is, he's going to probably be diagnosed with that. What is it? CTE. There's not a lot going on up there, right? Just not a lot going on up there. Ladies, all the single ladies, would that be a guy that you would even date, even go on one date with? Would you even go on one date with this? Or no, I should say 2 dates. Would you go on 2 dates? I guess it all depends on what happens on the first date, right? But just off top, you know how you kind of do your little investigation phase, you don't necessarily know if you're ever going to necessarily, if your paths ever meet or whatever, but you're going through that investigation phase, just kind of getting to know what you can about somebody or whatnot. If you ran across something like this, where he's lying about everything, college education, being at the top of his class, graduating with a degree. Then he claimed he had all these mental illnesses, multiple personalities. And then you just hearing him talk, would you go on a date? Listen, the body gets old, man. The body gets old. There's just something to be said about intelligence, right? And I just kind of get the sneaking suspicion that Mr. Herschel Walker doesn't quite have that card in his deck. Hey, it ain't my fault he's running for Senate. If he wants to run for the United States Senate seat from Georgia, then he's got to be able to take some hard criticism, right? It's like, how do you lie about all that type of stuff, though? Like, did you really have multiple personalities? I mean, when he was called on his lies about graduating from UGA, he actually, got aggressive about it with the reporter when they called him on his lie. He kind of got aggressive with the reporter a bit. But listen, man, this is wild.
About doing that, looking into things like that, and we can stop that way. But yet they want to just continue to talk about taking away your constitutional rights. And I think there's more things we need to look into. This has been happening for years, and the way we stop it by putting money into the mental health field, by putting money into other departments rather than departments that want to take away your rights.
Yes, really, that's what he said. I know. And that response wasn't a one-off from Walker on this issue. When asked by CNN's Manu Raju about whether he supported new gun laws following Uvalde, Walker said this.
Do you support new gun laws in the wake of this Texas shooting?
What I like to do is see it and everything and stuff. I like to see it doing everything.
Now, these nonsensical answers are part of a broader pattern from Walker, who
like
easily won the
it and
Republican Senate
everything.
nomination with Donald Trump's backing in
Emmanuel.
late May for the right to take on Georgia Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock in the fall. Walker is a deeply flawed candidate who is an opposition researcher's dream. Consider the following. Despite being a football hero and legend in the state of Georgia, Walker hasn't lived in the state for a very long time. Moving back to Georgia to run for office opens Walker up to charges of carpetbagging, and he has no ready answer for those charges. Walker has also been accused of threatening behavior. So Walker's been open about his diagnosis of dissociative identity disorder, a condition where a person has two or more separate personalities, and the struggles that condition has caused him, including writing a book about his experiences and life. But as CNN reported last year, several women have accused Walker of making threats against them. In 2002, one Texas woman told police that Walker had threatened and stalked her. Over the years, two other women, Walker's ex-wife and an ex-girlfriend, have also accused him of making threats, telling authorities Walker claimed he would shoot them in the head. At the time of CNN's reporting, a spokeswoman for Walker declined to respond to the allegations or police report, citing Walker's past struggles with mental health and claiming that he was unfairly being targeted as a Republican candidate for the U.S. Senate. Another thing, Walker's never been a candidate for anything before. A Senate race is a very tough place to make a maiden campaign. And that goes double when you're talking about what will likely be the single most closely watched and expensive Senate race in the country. Walker was never really seriously challenged for the Republican nomination, but you can be sure that Warnock and his team will aggressively go after the running back in the general election. Walker also has resume problems. As CNN noted recently, Walker has repeatedly said he graduated from the University of Georgia, even though he did not. An investigation by the Atlanta Journal-Constitution revealed that, quote, court records and other public documents contradict statements Walker has made about the number of people his companies employ, their size, and the assets they own. The review also revealed a string of defaults, settlements, and lawsuits alleging that Walker and his business owed millions of dollars in unpaid loans. End quote. Walker is, to put it very mildly, a target-rich environment for Raphael Warnock and Democrats, which is something that Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell has known for quite some time. Wrote CNN's Manu Raju, Alex Rogers, and Mike Warren all the way back in August of 2021, quote, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell has suggested to allies that former Georgia Senators David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler should take another look at running again, according to three sources familiar with the matter, after their narrow losses in January flipped the Senate to Democratic control, end quote. So Loeffler ultimately decided against the bid against Walker. Perdue, at the urging of Donald Trump, ran a disastrously bad primary challenge to Georgia Governor Brian Kemp, losing by upwards of 50 points. Now, McConnell, always the political pragmatist, eventually wound up endorsing Walker. Quote, Herschel is the only one who can unite the party, defeat Senator Warnock, and help us take back the Senate, McConnell said last fall, adding, I look forward to working with Herschel in Washington to get the job done. Sidebar, Trump endorsed Walker in September 2021. Quote, he would be unstoppable, just like he was when he played for the Georgia Bulldogs and in the NFL, Trump said of Walker, who at that point was still considering a candidacy. Trump added this, quote, he's also a great person. Run, Herschel, run, end quote. Walker's weaknesses as a Senate nominee extend and matter well beyond the state lines of Georgia. Republicans need to net just a single seat to retake control of the Senate in 2023. And Georgia, with the narrow victory margin for both Warnock and President Joe Biden in 2020, is at the top of the list of potential Republican pickups. Lose Georgia, and Republicans need to find a pickup elsewhere, in places like Arizona, where Senator Mark Kelly looks like he's running a strong campaign, or in the swing state of Nevada. In short, Senate Republicans are not in a place where they can simply write off one of their best pickup chances without feeling the impact of that decision elsewhere in the country. And while no one should say conclusively that Walker will lose to Warnock, it's quite clear that the former running back has major challenges as the Republican Senate nominee. The honest truth here is that Walker simply served up a word salad when asked about one of the only topics on Americans' minds these days, guns. It's clear he has no real answer to the question and instead fell back on worn-out tropes about constitutional rights and disinformation, which is not an insignificant thing, since Walker has a very decent chance of winding up in the U.S. Senate come 2023. To have such an uninformed view on such a critical issue is, in that context, unforgivable. And that is the point. We make New Point episodes every Tuesday and Thursday.
Man, shout out to Chris Kaliza, man. He's I always love his take on things. But yeah, wow. Yeah, this is not good for Mr. Herschel Walker. There's a whole thing about having kids and not taking care of them, and then you've been criticizing other people. But listen, truth is, I don't think necessarily that it would hinder him from getting the seat. We've seen what Donald Trump managed to accomplish, right? Grab him by the pussy. That was his October surprise. And amazingly, he won the election. Y'all, I'm out of here. Until next time.